Welcome home to Eden. This is Eve Christoph, your Love Life Muse. And I want to know why we are letting our president get away with murder, especially with the Puerto Rican population, you know. That's a small island. It's so small you can drive across the whole island in a day, and it would take nothing to send our resources and our boats and our troops there to take care of our own people. So what is the syndrome that we are all part of that allows men, leaders, our fathers, our uncles, to get away with terrible behavior, abuse of our daughters, incest? Why do we keep it a secret? Why do we let it happen in public and do nothing about it? It's something about propping up the alcoholic, the addict, the person with a huge psychosis. We prop them up, and then we're part of that pathology. So the country has this huge pathology in this gigantic blind spot about male power being related to egoistic, aggrandizing greed. And if in our own homes, in our own families, we don't confront things, then of course we don't in public. I know that I went through some relationships that were so deeply destructive to my soul that by the time I was out of it, those relationships, my body was racked because my spirit had been so destroyed in the process of keeping on propping up the person, always wanting them to be smarter than me, better than me, thinking of them as the king, that I just wasn't honoring my own authority and didn't want to actually take them down. I felt like in those relationships the people would be so destroyed by my honesty that they might commit suicide or self-destruct. But that is what has to happen, with the psychopath, who is basically, in his job description, is to take care of his people. Is just to do his job, and he is getting away with murder. Our president is getting away with murder by ignoring the Puerto Rican plight right now. Without food and water, a tiny island in our jurisdiction. So where do you let the men in your life get away with this kind of thing? The man in you, as a woman, what part of you lets your own self be destructive and lazy and entitled? We have to face it on a really detailed level all around us, because this cruelty as our leader is not allowed. I want him impeached. Don't you? Let's just admit it. This is grounds for impeachment, to ignore his own people. Go golfing on a weekend when people are dying in Puerto Rico of simple things like hunger and thirst? Come on. You agree with me, I know you do. And if you were somebody who voted for baby Trumpty Dumpty, you must be so upset, because you never thought that he would be cruel, right? You probably thought he would be a maverick, somebody who would just do all kinds of wild and crazy things and just out of the norm. If he were any kind of person with a work ethic or any kind of care of others, he would just be going wild with the opportunity to help the world. Can you imagine being in that position where you had the power to help thousands and millions of people, and instead taking it to ignore them and hurt people and take away children's child care and children's health benefits and on and on. We've seen it, right? But the thing is, it's a big story that's going on from our family structure of propping up alcoholic men, workaholic men, and egoistic macho men I'm saying men because it's actually, this is a male problem right now in terms of our male leadership. We're seeing it over and over again, ignoring the women's agenda, which is very simple: food, water, safety for our children, roofs over our heads, education. It's just like getting along with the world, taking care of the planet, Mother Earth. Let's respond with some solar energy, right? And wind and hydro, because of course we just like, oh, it's easy, save the planet, just switch over from greed and fossil fuel. I was thinking, about this whole thing about capitalism and how it's based on taking more than you give, right? You profit off of others, you take more than you've ever put in, and how that is the basis of evil. Peter Diamondstone, who founded Liberty Union Party in Vermont, and who was really basically responsible for Bernie Sanders being able to have a whole career that came out of the Liberty Union Party and socialism. He died recently, and I was at his funeral, and there was a huge sign saying, "Capitalism is the root of all evil." And I was like, yeah, I guess evil in us, we all have this tendency, the desire to just take more than we give. But we don't realize that in our giving, that's when we're receiving. That's when our deep enjoyment, our deep pleasure comes, is when we're giving. And certainly as lovers, this is the case. When you lose yourself to the giving and the receiving, and you're lost, you can't even keep track of where the giving and receiving ended, started, began. So let's be lovers. Let's be better lovers to each other. And part of that is going to have to be the wake-up call that says, this is not love. This is not loving. This isn't even part of the love story. Let's get back to love. Okay, love. Love you. Much love. Hey, you know what? I'm starting some soirees, some socialism and global cooling soirees. Please contact me if you'd like to come over and join us for these sort of parties where we just start exploring how amazing it is in other parts of the world where they are living from a more socialistic structure that is also democratic and takes care of all of the people and gets along with the planet and takes care of nature. Wow, isn't it amazing that actually we can do this now? Al Gore said in his movie, the sequel to The Inconvenient Truth, he said there's enough solar energy in 1 hour. 1 hour of time, with solar panels. There's enough solar energy for an entire year, for the entire planet, in 1 hour of the amount of sunlight that comes onto the planet. 1 hour, enough for the whole world for 1 year. Wow! And it's so exciting because I met the guy who used to run the Mole Hollow candles. I met him the other day when I was singing, and he said, "What are you doing with your life now?" He said, "I built myself a solar house, and get this, his solar house makes him $450 a month from the extra electricity that it gives out back to the power plants. It funds his solar panels pay for his cooking, his food, his heat, and all of the gas for his electric car. So all of that suddenly became free, plus $450 coming back a month, plus all these tax breaks from it, from having put up the solar panels. Whoa, isn't that cool? And then we think, oh, this isn't possible, but now there's all these solar companies. If you don't have $30,000 to invest, which is what I guess he did, but he's already got his investment back in only a few years. But if you didn't have that, now there's all these solar companies that are actually, they'll put up the panels for you, and then you have a contract with them. So exciting, isn't it? What I loved about the sequel to The Inconvenient Truth was it was so clear that when that movie first came out that Al Gore put out, it was so scary because nobody knew anything. Really, people were just beginning to face global warming. But since his first movie came out and the work he's done, our hero, Al Gore, who we actually voted for, just like we voted for Hillary. Both of them won the elections. Well, now so many people know about what he's been talking about and believe in it that a huge amount has gotten done all over the planet in terms of switching over to solar energy. Wow! So much is possible, isn't it? And we just need to enter that frame of like believing and feeling the change, feeling how baby Trumpty Dumpty is our baby selves sitting on the toilet right in front of us. That's what he's doing, just plopping his poops and his diaper up there in front of everybody in the White House. And we go like, well, yeah, but he's us. He's our ridiculous, selfish, capitalistic, American, idiotic lack of education that would put him there. So now, as we educate ourselves more, we will gonna be like, there's gonna be this huge backlash, right? It's already happening, that of like, wow, we need to become actively socialistic, actively transforming our society instead of relying on mommy and daddy in the White House. You know, we had such beautiful examples. You know, the Clintons were so, you know, regal and powerful, and especially Obama and Michelle were so regal that we're like, they'll take care of it all. But now it's like, whoa, with a baby up there, you know you can't. So come over to my house. We'll have a soiree, or make your own soirees about whatever it is that you feel will help. And this is the magic feminine. This is the sexy awakening. Because what is sexy? Sexiness is creation. It's about life-giving priorities and agendas and actions that create more. That's sexual energy. Creative procreation. Procreate, baby! Alright, so thanks for being with me and my musing about where we're going together. Pass this message on. Pass on your own message, okay? Let's just be part of the story with positivity. You know how it is. If you focus your mind towards what you want, you go there. If you focus your mind towards everything you're afraid of and that you don't want, you actually add energy to it. So the trick is getting your mind to a new imaginative place. Imagine we had 13 months a year we were paid for, like they have in Italy. Imagine we had a jail system with no jailers, like they have in, which country was it? It's in Michael Moore's movie, Where to Invade Next. He goes around the world, and you see socialism in action, like in France, where every school, you can't have any school that isn't as well taken care of as another. And so every district all over, no matter if it's a poor or a rich neighborhood, have these incredible schools with outrageously wonderful food for the kids. Imagine we had, a break in the middle of the day for like 2 hours to go home and have sex and have a big meal with the family like they have in Italy. What if we had, like, what is that country where they don't even punish anything to do with drugs. It's just not illegal, because what they have instead is a healing system. They treat drug use as an illness, and so all they have is treatment. Imagine this. Imagine these things in our country. Imagine free education for everybody, and free healthcare like in Canada. Totally free. Being completely well taken care of. Oh yeah, imagine your taxes have gone up a little, and with that you get like daycare for your kids and sick leave for maternity leave, and you have all the arts taken care of, and what about mothers and single mothers completely taken care of, like in these other countries like Amsterdam. Wow, we could have that here. We could. Wouldn't it be amazing? And if really Republicans and Texas people are so against it, so against women having a choice, and if their religion really keeps them from thinking it would be okay to have women have a choice and to have gay marriage, well, maybe they can defect and they can have their own little country in the middle of America, where they have no women's rights and no civil rights, and they have all the guns they want to just murder each other whenever they want, and they can just have it their way with their God, their Jesus, who is really different Jesus than I know, violent and doesn't care about the poor. Wow, won't even take care of Puerto Rico? Taking care of Puerto Rico is our first thing. Let's make it happen, okay? All of us, let's make it happen. Puerto Rico, food and water, everything else they need. Come on. What can we do? We gotta have we gotta have a way to just get through this crazy time period while taking care of each other, right? Let's do it. Show me how. Let's figure it out, okay? I don't know how to get through to that guy up there. But maybe we can do it without him. Right? Have you ever been in a family structure where the